Canelo Alvarez has come out swinging in the press, not in the ring, against Gennady Golovkin in the past week or so. He's been criticizing the quality of Golovkin's opposition during his career. Basically saying Golovkin's been fighting nobodies, and whereas he himself has been fighting elite level fighters. Now, he talks about, and I'll leave a link to this article / interview in the description below, so you can go read it in its entirety. I'm going to be paraphrasing here. Basically, Canelo says that Erislandy Lara is a great fighter, and this is the first time I've heard Canelo compliment Lara. But he says Erislandy Lara is a great fighter, and he's been calling out Triple G. He can give Triple G a lot of problems. Why isn't Triple G fighting Erislandy Lara? And I've said this previously. This is me talking now, not Canelo. I've said this previously. I think Golovkin would beat Lara, but I can't for the life of me understand why Triple G. Did I just say Canelo would beat Lara or Triple G? Well, I meant, if I did say that, I meant I think Triple G would beat Lara, but I can't for the life of me understand why Triple G is not even responding to Lara's multiple call-outs. Never mind actually taking the fight. And Lara has been calling Triple G out both before his fights and after his fights. After he fought Varnes Martirosyan. Was that Lara's last fight? I think it was. He called out Golovkin after the fight. So this is not a way of him trying to boost ticket sales for his fights. No, because he's calling Golovkin out even after the fight. He seems like he genuinely wants to fight Gennady Golovkin. And I've heard every excuse under the sun for why Golovkin can't fight Lara. People were saying, oh, Lara needs to prove himself at middleweight. You know, why is he calling out a middleweight and expecting a fight? He needs to go up to middleweight, prove himself, and then Golovkin will fight him. I mean, well, that argument is clearly BS, and I said it was from the beginning because Golovkin's been pursuing fights with smaller fighters for a long time. Guys who have never fought a middleweight and never would fight a middleweight. People like Pacquiao and Mayweather. He was pursuing fights with both of them for a long time. So you can't say it's because Lara's smaller and hasn't done anything at middleweight. That's BS. And now we see with Golovkin fighting Kell Brook. What's Kell Brook ever done at middleweight? Nothing. He's never fought a middleweight. But yet, Golovkin's willing to take that fight. So why isn't he entertaining the Erislandy Lara fight? You do have to wonder about these things, people. We don't yet know how good Gennady Golovkin is. He seems to be very good right now. But until we see him in the ring with, like Canelo said, the level of opposition that Canelo's been fighting, then we won't know for sure. I think that Golovkin is special. That's just what I think. I don't know that. And that's why it's frustrating for me when Golovkin isn't taking fights against people who are calling him out, like Erislandy Lara, like Andre Ward, etc., etc. Remember, Ward was calling for that fight when he was still at 168. And Carl Froch recently came out and reiterated that point. He said, for all Golovkin and his team's talk of fighting anybody from 154 to 168, when somebody at 168 in Ward answered that challenge, Golovkin and his team all of a sudden were not interested. And remember, Golovkin and his team recently have been saying they're willing to fight James DeGale at 168 in a one-off fight, and then move back down after fighting James DeGale to pursue his endeavors at middleweight again. So why didn't he do that with Andre Ward, since they claimed they would fight anybody from 154 to 168? Why didn't they do that with Ward? Why did they start talking about catch weights? I mean, you can't issue a challenge like that and then start moving the goalposts when somebody accepts the challenge. If you're going to do that, then don't issue the challenge in the first place. Don't say you'll fight anybody from 154 to 168 if you're going to start moving the goalposts when somebody accepts it. You know, so that is what that is. Same with Lara. Like, yeah, Lara is a boring fighter. I'm not here to say otherwise. But whether he's boring or not, if he's better than the guys you've been fighting, then that's the fight you're supposed to take. Is Lara better than Dominic Wade? I mean, all day long. I know Dominic Wade was a mandatory, but still, you look at the other guys who Golovkin's been fighting. Lara is better than most, if not all of them. In my view, at least. So that's the fight you're supposed to be taking. I do think that there is a polarization when it comes to Gennady Golovkin. There are some people who will attack Golovkin for everything and give him no credit for anything. And then you've got the other camp who will praise Golovkin for everything and criticize him for nothing. There's a massive polarization and there's no real objectivity when it comes to Golovkin. Whereas I try and fill that void. I try and be objective about all fighters, Golovkin included. I think Golovkin is special. I don't know that, but I think he is. But at the same time, I'm left scratching my head when he don't take the opportunity to fight people like Lara and Andre Ward. When him and his team have said they'd fight anybody from 154 to 168, when it's clear that he's willing to go up to 168 to fight a one-off fight and then come back down, because he said he'd do it with James DeGale recently, and it's clear he'll fight smaller guys because he's fighting Kell Brook. So no excuses, people. Let's be even-handed and let's be objective here. Let's praise Golovkin when he deserves to be praised, and also criticize him when criticism is warranted. So it is what it is. Yeah, let me know how you feel in the comment section below. Have a read of the article. See what Canelo's been saying. I know it's hypocritical and rich coming from Canelo, since he has blatantly ducked Gennady Golovkin. Shamelessly. Riddick Bowe style. But still, whether he ducked Golovkin or not, there are some legitimate criticisms that Canelo has been putting out. It is what it is. It's your boy Hartman, I'm out.